welcome to the Six Figure Mentor Series. I am Tammy Washington, and I am so excited to introduce you to the entrepreneur we have the opportunity to speak to today. She is a serial entrepreneur. She is well over six figures, but more than anything else, I really want to share with you how she created her business, how she's maintaining her business, because the reason I wanted to speak to her really was because her customer service is just out of this world. And I want you guys to really understand what it takes to run a great business, and then also how she's growing her business. And so with that said, I would like to give a warm welcome to our featured entrepreneur tonight, Neta Talmor, the creator of No Hassle website.
I am so happy to be here, Tammy. You know that I fell in love with you. There's some customers, I don't really like to use the word customers, but some people in my community that I'm like, ooh, I like her. So you're one of them. So when you invited me, I was more than happy to join, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yay, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So let's just start with just kind of your beginning days, because you started as an entrepreneur very early in your life. And so can you just tell everybody about like your first business and why you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Okay, so why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I don't really know, because I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't change from wanting something else. I started my first business when in my teens. I was around 16. The actual first business I opened was, I liked sewing. Sewing was my hobby. It still is. So I made these like easy, fun kind of summer pants that were really popular when I was a teenager. And I went to the market and I bought fabrics and I sewed like there's no tomorrow. I was at a one-person factory and I had about 50 or 60 ready, and I just invited friends to my house and I sold almost all of them. I remember that. I was probably 16 at the time. So that was my first official business. Then I went, I had to finish school, and I served in the army as well. And then after I went to university, and I immediately started my first, big business after that. And I haven't stopped since. And I've never really worked for anyone else. I never, ever had a 9-to-5 job, never had a paycheck, nothing like that. So I've always been an entrepreneur.
Wow, that's amazing. And so I just want you guys to know how I came across Neta and No Hassle website. So I'm on Facebook one day, scrolling like we always do. And we all see a million ads a day, but this ad, like when I say it spoke to me and all the pain points I had in my life at that time, this was a couple of months ago. And I was just at a point where I was so sick and tired of not having control of my website. Like most of us who started businesses, we outsourced, hired a web designer because we didn't know what to do, right?
Right.
And just having to, every time you need something updated, having to go to somebody else, and then sometimes it doesn't get updated. Sometimes it takes weeks or even months. And I was just at a point where I was like, okay, I have to find a way to do this on my own. And I was going to do Wix or one of those others. And I saw this ad. It spoke to everything I was looking for, how to do a beautiful website by yourself, take back control, and for $99. And I thought, what's the catch?
Okay. So as you know now, there is no catch. Right. But it's interesting. That ad that you saw, I know that ad specifically because I have run the same specific ad for 2 years now. I do not touch it. I don't do anything to it because it's amazing. It's just the best ad I ever did, and I'm not messing around with it. People split test. I'm like, how much better could it be? I'm not touching this thing. So I've had it for 2 years. From April 2017 is when I started that specific ad that you saw. And actually the challenge of people not believing it was too good to be true, is something that I had in the early days, but I don't find that it's really a challenge anymore. I think people, if they just search or just click to see a little more, they see that it's all legit and there's no catch. And since the risk is so little, I think people go, get on board quite easily. And then of course they're blown away, which is my scheme, right? So yeah, but what you went through is what many of my community, my people that end up buying No Hassle website go through. I hear that again and again. And the reason that I could pinpoint all your pain points is because I've never actually been there, because I've been building websites for over 20 years. I built my first HTML website in 1998. I know that for a fact. So I've been doing that for many years. But the reason I knew exactly what people are looking for was because I was very involved in some online Facebook groups that were for entrepreneurs. Some have changed, some, it's very dynamic. So I'm not so involved in most of the ones that I was 2, 3, 4 years ago. But I kept on seeing the same exact questions asked in the group every day. Also, I was like, why don't you just search the answers? Someone just asked it. But people repeatedly asked the same questions, and I kept on giving the same answers. I didn't have a business. I didn't have No Hassle website at the time. It had nothing to do with the business. I just, had the answers. So I gave advice and recommendations again and again and again. And I remember that. And if you've, heard me tell that story before, is because what happened was that I was talking to my husband, and I told him, why doesn't someone just come up with a website that already has everything people need? That was what I said. And as I uttered the word, I understood, ta-da, this is what I need to create. And within a month, No Hassle website was launched. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly what what it had to have in it. And honestly, the website is almost exactly the way it was when I launched it 3 years ago, not because I don't want to change it, but because I feel like there's no need for it. It still answers exactly the same pain point that the original idea had, and the first demo that I did included. So I just tweaked it a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty much the same as it was originally 3 years ago when I first launched.
Wow. Now, so many people get caught up on the titles for their programs, the titles for their business. How did you come up with No Hassle website?
I think, I can't remember. I had a different name, and the domain wasn't available.
Ah.
Yes, I remember that. But I don't remember what it was now. And I can tell you that it's the best name because I have a lot of sister products now. Mm-hmm. And so they're always No Hassle platform, No Hassle, challenge, whatever it is, it's really easy. So that has worked out really well for me. But again, my husband pointed out, I don't know, last year, he said to me, Neta, this is exactly your life. It's your life philosophy. You always do No Hassle stuff. So it was a very, very good fit to my character and my life philosophy, although I didn't have the title No Hassle before I came up with it. But that was the reason. It wasn't No Hassle at the beginning. I have to look up my notes.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know, like, in some of your earlier businesses, they all kind of started the same way, where you just saw a problem and you solved it.
Right. So that's always been my thing, because as a serial entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur in my heart, it doesn't matter to me what I do. It doesn't matter. People think that my passion is not for websites, right? That's not where my passion is. My passion is to deliver a solution, to make people happy, to empower, all those things through different products and things that I did over the years. My husband and I have lived in Costa Rica for 5 years, where we built a boutique hotel in the middle of the jungle. What were we thinking? but still, it was pretty much the same idea. What really made us take off and be more successful was when I came up with a Costa Rica package. So I understood that the needs of the guests of the hotel was not to come to a hotel, but to have someone help them plan the entire trip to Costa Rica. So I ended up creating a 10-day Costa Rica package that again fit the needs of so many people. It doesn't doesn't matter how much money you had, you still more or less had 10 days to have fun in Costa Rica.
Wow.
So I created a package, and one of the stops was our hotel. And that's how I promoted our hotel. So it's always been a very organic, always, all my products are very organic in the way that I develop them, from a need or a passion for an element of it, but not necessarily the entire thing. And then I build on top of that. So always, so the same was with No Hassle, but also the products that I've developed since No Hassle website, the sister products, are all because of the needs of my community. So I listen, and I'm like, yeah, I think I need to create something for them.
Yeah.
And that's how I do it.
You know, that's so important, because I think especially right now in this day and age, there's a lot of and I've honestly been guilty of teaching this myself at times. There's a lot of emphasis on doing your passion, doing what you love. And there is nothing wrong. Like, I love what I do as a trainer, but at the end of the day, you have to be a solution to someone's problem if you want to be successful.
Mm-hmm. I think the key, I'm very passionate about what I do. I do it very easily, in the sense that I don't consider it work. I really don't. And I work all day, 360, every day of the year, being an entrepreneur. But I don't consider it work. I don't think, for my children, they don't think, oh, poor mom, she has to work. No, it's like, guys, I need to work. Go, because I like it, right? So I have passion for that. But I think the key is that the passion is not for one specific industry or area. It's the result or the feeling that I provide people. And that can be achieved through many different businesses. Wow. So that for me is, I think, why I can do different businesses over the years I've done. And I wasn't any more or less passionate about them than I am about No Hassle website. But No Hassle website is my most successful business, because it kind of combined, and all the lessons that I've learned from the last 25 years, I really implemented all of them with No Hassle.
Yeah. And I do find that I totally agree with you, because I find that everybody thinks, oh, it's this one thing that I have to figure out. And you don't realize that, like, even where I am, everything that I learned in the past, all the failures, got me to the place where now I can do it, and I know all the systems to use.
Right. I would not change anything. And I didn't mention it before, but I've been a serial entrepreneur, and I've done a lot of things, a lot of businesses over the years. But I've never really had financial success until No Hassle website. So I've had periods of times where a business was successful, or after many years it was successful, but for a short time, or a change had to be made. But I never had a sustainable business that was successful like No Hassle website. So I've struggled for many, many years, struggled with my businesses and struggled financially. And we made the choices, my husband and I never went to work for someone else. And my husband is an artist. And people, so yeah, you can assume. And, we have young children. So our priorities were to continue to do what we love, and believe that that is better than working for someone else or doing something that we don't love. Yeah. So we lived on a very, very, very tight, tiny budget. And that was fine for us. It was, it was for many years. So it got a little, it's hard to do it for a long, long time. And we did. It was many years that we struggled, but it never made me work for someone else. And I also believed that I just need to nail it. I was so hardworking. I knew I was, I consider myself talented and creative and hardworking. So I put everything in it, yet it didn't all click. But I believed that it would, and then No Hassle website came along.
Boom.
Yeah, boom.
So one thing that you touched on very briefly, which I really would like for you to go into, is your work ethic. Your work ethic, because I think more than anything else, that's what really takes you to the cross line, right? To the finish line, right? So can you just tell us about like an average day in the life of Neta?
Yes, so I can share with you that, but I want to say that my work ethic was the same always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not enough. It has to be the combination of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I worked really, really hard before, had the same work ethic. I don't feel it changed. Um, but but it had to be with combination with other things. But I can share with you. So usually I go to sleep very late. I'm a night person, but having young kids, we can't just wake up whenever we want and do so. I don't sleep a lot at night. The normal night is 5 hours or so. We go to sleep late, we wake up, and then I do what I call the morning shift. So when the kids are in school, I work all morning. Then in the afternoons until they go to sleep, and they go to sleep really late, our kids. And then around 10 p.m. or so, I start my night shift, and then I go online again. However, I don't, like I said before, I love working. That is not a problem. I've never had an issue with working. I just worked really, really hard and didn't get compensated financially for it. But I work just the same. I haven't changed much. In fact, I work less now, a little less than I did before, because first of all, when you make money, you can afford to have some help. But also I feel that the kids have grown a little bit, and I can be more concentrated and focused on what I need. So I get more done in less time. But I work all the time, all the time. And that is a big part for me. Although I know what the big change is. And I think that's something that you mentioned at the beginning. I've made this business very sustainable, and by sustainable I mean this is something that I can do for years and years and years. So I'm not burned out. So I can continue to grow. That is a big thing for me. A big motto is to have a sustainable business. Previous businesses that I have were not sustainable. I could not sustain doing what I did for forever, right? So with No Hassle website, I keep on creating balances so it's not crazy. However, every client, every ticket that I answer, every customer, that needs help, it's as if they're the only person that needs help on the list today. And I think that is the difference. I always assume that they know nothing. So, because that's how they came to me, knowing nothing, overwhelmed, they're non-techies. This is given. So I always, I create videos a lot of times. You've seen them. It's one of the ways that I provide service. I create videos and I walk through every step. I don't assume that it's trivial or that they know it. So in my opinion, it takes more time to create that video, but it really saved a lot of back and forth. So it's more efficient. But sometimes, I can create a video that's like 15 minutes just for one client. But first of all, they got their answer. They learn new things. It will save me time in the long run, right? I didn't just throw out the answer or did it and that's done and they don't know what's going on. And also they're so happy and in love that they are now telling everyone else about it. So it works. It's a win-win-win situation. Everyone wins. But I'm very devoted and spend a lot of time giving service. So that is a big part of the business.
Absolutely. And guys, she is not lying when I tell you seriously, that's one of the reasons why I love No Hassle website so much, because you really do treat each and every customer like they're the only one. And you don't make us feel stupid, even though there were days when I was like, this was just like in the first couple days. Yeah. After a while, you're like, oh, I'm getting it now. And yes. Just your patience. And she really does go through and show you, she'll send you a video. Hey, here you go. Here's the answer. And so what made you decide, like, I'm just going to have stellar customer service?
Oh, again, not a decision. I think it's just in my character. It's just in my character. I feel honored that people have put the trust in me to buy No Hassle website. And I feel that that's the agreement we had, that I would support them, that they would get to the finish line if they do the work. So I don't do the work. I actually love it when I like people that ask me questions, because those are the action takers. If you bought and I don't hear from you, I'm like, okay, you didn't do the work. I'm not responsible for that. But if you do the work and you encounter a problem and you reach out to us, I have two other ladies on my team. You reach out to us, you need help, we will be here to help you, because that was the agreement when you bought, for $99, no hassle website. I told you I will get you through the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where it comes from.
And I love it so much. It really does make your business stand out.
Thank you.
All other businesses that I've worked with when it comes to any type of
I'll tell you another thing. I never sell No Hassle website. I don't promote it. I have the ad that has been going on for 2 years. I do launches for new products, but I never promote No Hassle website. Like, I don't do anything. I never try to convince people to buy. That all happens organically. And it happens organically because of everything else. So my job, I don't feel like I'm not a seller. I don't try to sell. I don't push my product ever. What I do is give customer service, answer, help, make people, empower people. And that's in one side. And then karma does the rest, and it comes back from the other direction.
Oh, I love that so much. I love that. So can you talk about a little bit, because we always talk on these interviews about faith as well and the power of faith, because starting your own business and really wanting to be an agent of change for society can be a hard task at times. Can you just talk about, like, on the days when it really did get hard and you wanted to give up maybe, and things weren't working the way that you wanted to, how did you keep pushing and moving forward?
Okay, so I think you'll have to ask that question to my parents. Unfortunately, both of them have passed away. But that is a mystery of my life, to be honest. And they did a good job, my parents. I've never had issues with self-confidence. I always knew that it's in me to do that. I, I, I always, when things didn't go the way I had hoped in a business, or I never questioned my abilities to do it. I questioned maybe some decisions I made. I looked back and I said, what did I do wrong? How can I make it better? And so I moved on and tried to correct it, or created a new business, through the years. But it was never about me. It was never about my abilities to do it. In fact, for many years, I said there's a gap between my abilities and my bank account balance, right? So my challenge was to reduce that gap. And that's what I've been doing for all these years. How can I reduce the gap? It was never, I can't do it. No, there was the gap because I could do it, right? So why wasn't I able to do it? And now with No Hassle website and with my community and interviews like this, I try to save people from the 20 years that I've spent, right? To make it much shorter for them to do it. But there are some elements of this equation that I don't have clear answers for, right? I can look in retrospect, or I can tell you why No Hassle website works so well, this combination of different elements, but it doesn't, like I said, I worked as hard as I do before as I do now, right? That didn't change. I was passionate, but I did become smarter over the years. And I made it sustainable, and I avoided some mistakes that I did before. So that's how I see it today. But it was never a matter of faith. Okay. And you know how we dealt with it? We didn't buy stuff, and we just lived off what we could, very, very modestly. And it's not like now we spend, I always say the difference between living the good life and struggling is about $2,000. That's how a month. That's how little it is, and how big the struggle is. Because when you're not there, it's everything, the difference. But when you make them, it's unbelievable. We spend $2,000 more a month and we do whatever we want. That's the difference, right? So that's it. That's all there is to it. And so we still do that. We don't just go around and spend. And also, you said that I'm a six figure, that I make six figures in it. it's true. I do. I just did my taxes, and but I never, I didn't think about it that way. But wow, I've made it and it's really happening. I can see the numbers on my tax return. So, but it doesn't change a lot. It just makes you not feel like this all the time, which was a long time for us. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Okay. So do you have any ending words, any ending messages that you'd like to send out to all of our budding entrepreneurs who have great ideas about their businesses and just need some help figuring out what to do next?
Okay. So I have a couple of thoughts that are coming up. First of all, I don't believe you need to hustle all the time. It's not this crazy hustle that you need to just run all the time, but you need to do the work. It's not going to be done for you. So again, Tammy, you bought No Hassle website a couple of months ago, and you put the work in and you have what you need. I have people that don't put the work in, and I'm like, it's not going to happen for you. You don't do the website, none of your business is going to be successful. Not that the website is all you need or the most important thing, but if you're not even putting the effort in your website, then the rest won't happen either. So I think a lot of people many times look for excuses or other reasons outside of themselves for the lack of success. So my main recommendation is to look inward. You need to do the work. You need to focus. When something doesn't go the way you want, don't look outward. What happened where I don't have the money, I don't have this, if I only had that. No. What did you actually do what you were supposed to do? Did you actually implement everything you planned to implement that you already learned? You don't need another course. Some people are like, if I just bought this, if I just had the money for Facebook ads. I started without anything, right? Nothing. I had no budget. When I did my first launch, it was 6 months after I started my business. And I invested in the launch for a new product about $1,000. It was everything to me, Tammy. It was like money we didn't have, right? But I believed in it, and my business was already around for 6 months, so I knew I just need to give that push. But I did everything before that for 6 months without any money, without any budget. People don't put that, but keep on wondering why things are not happening. So that's one thing, inward and not outward. And the other thing is to create a model that is sustainable. So you have to think about, okay, if it really is successful, if I really get clients all the time, can I continue to do this? Can it work? It's not, because we always dream, if I had 10 clients a month, I would do. Could you really do what you plan on doing with 10 clients a month, right? Depending on what your business model is. So that's something to think about, because those were the mistakes that I made with previous businesses. It was all about getting the sale all the time. But then there were other elements of the business that I could not sustain when it sometimes did start to work out, and then it all collapsed, right? So I have other thoughts, but those are the two that come to mind now.
Two main ones. Well, thank you. That is amazing, and you have been such an inspiration. I truly appreciate you coming and sharing your story.
My pleasure.
Everybody out there, listen, guys. I know all of you need, and I know Neta hates when we do this, but that's okay. I know you need great websites. I do want you to go and check out No Hassle website. It will save you time, it will save you energy, but more importantly than anything else, it puts you in control of your web presence. And that is very important as a business owner.
Yes. Can I add one last thing?
Absolutely.
Yes. So when I started No Hassle website, I thought that what I'm giving is a tech solution, right? I was creating a tech solution. But very quickly after that, I understood that what I'm doing is empowering. And I know it sounds cliche and, I want to serve and I want to, that's, but it's true. It's true. And that's what, the customer service, it's all about that. It's that feeling of empowering. Tammy, I get emails from people that are amazing. I'm like, kids, husband, come here. I'm reading this to you, right? I mean, just to wake up in the morning and get these emails or notes or a post that someone put, it's really, it gets you through when you're tired. It gets you through when you're not sure, because this empowerment for women, especially, that I've created is very sustainable for me, right? I can continue with that forever.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Neta.
You're very welcome, Tammy.
You've been
Very
amazing.
welcome.